Be ready. 5 seconds. Start. At the very outset, may I say that I am delighted to be here this morning for the opening of this conference, and I extend a warm welcome to all the participants from different countries of the world who have gathered here on this occasion. I am aware that 67 countries have already become contracting parties to the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. This is certainly an achievement considering the fact that the convention came into force only about 5 years ago. It thus acquired an importance of its own in the field of international cooperation, and we are happy that the third meeting of the Conference of the Parties to this convention is being held in India and is being hosted by our government. The very raison d'etre of this convention is the concept of conservation, and India's history, tradition, and folklore is steeped in this concept. While launching the World Conservation Strategy in India a year ago, our esteemed Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi said the interest in conservation is not a sentimental one but the discovery of truth well known to our ancient sages. The Indian tradition teaches us that all forms of life, human, animal, and plant, are so closely interlinked that disturbance in one gives rise to imbalance in the other. It is thus befitting that India is providing the venue for the get together of all those committed to this ideal. In recent years, more particularly during the past decade, there has been considerable concern among the community of nations regarding the rapid pace at which living natural resources are declining all round the world. This concern is well justified because the prospects for the future are indeed grim. According to the Global 2000 report, which has invoked great interest around the world and is perhaps the most recent study in this field, serious stresses involving population, resource, and environment are clearly visible ahead. The world's people will be poorer in many ways in the year 2000 than they are today, and the environment will have lost important life support capabilities. According to an estimate prepared for the study, in the next 2 decades, about 15 to 20% of the Earth's total species of plants and animals may become extinct if the present trend continues. This works out to a loss of about 5 lakh species. Extinction on this scale is without precedent in human history, and the consequences are far too staggering to recount. Most of the havoc is attributed to destruction or loss of habitats resulting from clearing or degradation of forests, especially the tropical forests with the largest storehouse of plant and animal species. The second biggest cause for the extinction of species is overexploitation for commercial interest or trade, and it is well known that big money is involved in this business. World trade in wildlife and its products is now a phenomenon to reckon with and poses a major threat to the survival of species and their environment. Perhaps the most effective way of dealing with the threat on a global scale is through the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora CITES, and it is a matter of great satisfaction that so many nations of the world already subscribe to its ideology and objectives. Yet, so long as non-members continue to outnumber the members of the convention, and as long as the ranks of the former include unscrupulous traders in wildlife and forest produce, the effectiveness of CITES is bound to be partial. Of course, it is equally necessary that member nations perform as they should, and implementation follows the spirit of the convention. These are matters to which you would no doubt be addressing yourselves during the next few days. I sincerely hope the outcome would further strengthen the aims as well as the implementation of this international agreement. As far as India is concerned, we have subscribed to the philosophy of CITES since its inception. India is a contracting party to the convention since 1976, soon after it came into existence. Steps have been taken to implement the provisions of CITES by setting up a network of national management authorities along with four regional offices as well as scientific authorities operating in direct communication with each other and with the CITES Secretariat. The schedules to the Central Law on Wildlife Protection have been amended suitably so as to include more species of wild fauna and flora as well as to provide for greater protection and more effective control on trade in this area. This approach is also reflected in the export policy on wildlife and its products, which has introduced general control and regulation in this field.